I've been thinking a lot about safety culture lately. Had the opportunity actually to be with a client to keynote some of their safety summits where they bring in all of their third party providers. Now, this is an energy company and they have lots of providers and they invest in creating this wonderful production that they do on a quarterly basis. They hold it at multiple locations around their area of operation, and they invite everybody in. They do it up. They've got food for everyone. It's a really festive atmosphere. People are welcomed. They bring up staff, support staff. They're based in Houston, up into the field. They're in North Dakota, and so they fly staff up for these events. And the event is kicked off by their COO. Now, I hope you understand how rare this is, that a company would invest all of that personnel time and cost and travel, and that arguably the second highest management person within an organization would spend multiple days in the field to simply get across the message: we care for you. We want you to do everything in your power to keep you and everyone else safe. Now, while I want to say that I was just an unbelievable speaker, what really sends the message, what struck me so much, was how well done this is. And then I get to compare. Why am I even talking about this? Let me put this on the side. That's client one. Client number two, we are doing some work. This is a manufacturer. This client, I'll talk to the general manager of this plant. He has said over and over and over again that the most important thing in his organization was safety. And he is struggling to get people to believe him. We recently did a survey, got some feedback from folks, and actually did some training with them where they were able to talk candidly. And they were admitting that it was very difficult for them to call a stop. That is to put a pause to the work, for those of you who don't work in industry, to put a pause to the work to correct some perception of an unsafe condition or unsafe acts. All right, and it is gospel or that's not the right word. It's just taken for granted that's one of the most important things that everybody needs to be able to do at any time. And in organizations that have really strong safety cultures, no one has a problem with this. Everybody knows that it's okay, that we'll pick back up. As the COO of that client organization said, that has the superb safety culture. The oil has been in the ground for millions of years. One more day won't hurt. And he says this over and over again. What I'm trying to present to you right now is a comparison. These are both client companies. They're both trying to take steps, but one is very mature. One, everyone knows that this is the most important thing, that operations is in charge of safety. It's not just relegated to the safety person to figure out and to drive in the organization, but that this company really does believe that. In the other, they're trying to get people to believe it. The general manager is starting off right. Okay, he is starting to say, and has been actually for a while, saying the message, safety is the most important thing. But there's a huge gap. There's a difference. And when I compare these two organizations to one another, what I see in organization number one, we'll call organization number one the one that has the great safety culture. They spend money. It's a big investment of time effort to get across a very simple message that they do consistently. So it's a lot of money. It's messages and events and things that are done over and over and over again. So it's not just in response to, hey, we had an incident, but it is in fact before we have incidents. During this safety summit, one of the things that they do is not only do they have a speaker to kind of talk about a theme related to safety, as I was in this last month, but they also they highlight people in the organization who've made a good catch, who have stopped work, who have seen someone in a potentially awkward place or a potentially unsafe condition, and they've gone out of their way to correct it. And in this, they're celebrating it in front of everybody. They're sending Omaha steaks to these guys and their families for making a good catch. And when you see this repeated investment over and over and over again, on top of the message that is said over and over and over again, you actually believe it. So wonderful. I'm trying to figure out, how do I guide organization number 2 that's earlier in its journey, perhaps doesn't have quite the resources, although let me take that back. Everyone has resources for what's most important. So helping this company see that they need to invest more is key. One other observation from organization number 2, when the manager or the top dog, the COO, the upper management, when I can see that they actually believe in the value of safety and that they are communicating it over and over and over again, but that the people who do in the workforce aren't getting that message. They're still concerned if they call a stop that it might have negative repercussions on them, on how they're viewed. Then, and you've probably already guessed it, where's the cat? It's in the middle. That is, middle management, frontline supervisors have not yet gotten the message. And that's going to take repeated engagement, specification of, hey, here's our expectations, here's our values, here's how we live into those values. They need support in order to do that, planning and thinking what that means for the work and how they guide the work, and they will need accountability. So my head is brimming with ideas around safety culture. I can tell you in Organization 1, they are doing the kinds of efforts that keep people safe. And it's because they believe it. They embrace it. They know it costs, but it doesn't care, because it doesn't stand up against the value of human life. So, be like Organization 1.